Hello, everybody, and welcome to another LFC Transfer Room live stream. I hope you're all doing well. I'm sure nothing has happened in the last 24 hours. No news whatsoever, no heartbreak, nothing like that. But yeah, tonight I am joined by Stu, Tom, and Reese. Hope you all gentlemen are all good. We'll get into it straight away. I think we all know what we're going to discuss. It's been 24 hours since the Zubimendi rejection, and it's still not simmered down the emotions. Well, for myself anyway. Stu, firstly, how are you, my friend? And secondly, how are you feeling about the last 24 hours?
I'm doing well. I'm all right. Well, I was up until that news anyway. Yeah, that's a right old kick in the knackers, to be fair. I'm struggling to. I was prepared enough to be patient with the new regime as it comes, because obviously there's a lot of change, a lot of backroom stuff, and all that. So we've discussed all this plenty before, and I get that. But when they turned around and said, we're going to make some signings in August, this news comes out, you've got to make sure your target is 100% invested. They have to make sure that is guaranteed first before they make any headway on contract discuss transfer fees, all that sort of stuff. Somebody has dropped the ball here somewhere. I personally think after rejecting Bayern, Arsenal, and somebody else, I can't remember off the top of my head, before
Barcelona.
Or was it Barcelona? One of those anyway.
Yeah, three of them.
Yeah. I think the warning signs were there straight away. If he is a player who is rejecting clubs that size, and it's not just any disrespect to those clubs either, we're about level in like sort of reputation wise, then surely that must have been taken into consideration. I think it is a major oversight if they didn't. And we've ended up being made to look like absolute mugs. On the other hand, I can understand why Zubimendi wants to stay because it's his hometown club. But there's part of me thinking as well, from a player's perspective, what are you going to win? There. I said this on Sunday as well. It's like, what are you going to win at Sociedad? Maybe a Copa del Rey, possibly. One or two in your career if you stay there. You come to Liverpool, you stand a chance of challenging for the Premier League, Champions League, and the domestic cups. I don't understand it. It is baffling and frustrating, to say the least.
Yeah, I think we all share the same emotions. I'm not going to lie, Stu. I literally saw the news and I immediately it felt like my heart sank. I had a bad feeling about it over the weekend. I think we all started to get doubts. He's the one I wanted. I've been pointing it out there all summer. I wanted him because he suited what we were trying to do, that the style of play Slot wanted. But it was just that thing of the whole Basque players don't like to leave that area. I tell you what, I would love to move there. Clearly, it's that nice. You just want to stay there. You know. But I agree. Like it feels like he lacks ambition, but he clearly is prioritizing his family. I don't think Sociedad helped making him public enemy number one if he left. I think small part of me thinks we've dodged a bullet in terms of the player. If in 6 months' time he got cold feet and he want to go home from that perspective. But Tom, this is the part that has wound all of us up. You take the hint. You understand why he said no. But the news coming out or the brief that's come out that's saying we're likely not going to go for an alternative is just beyond negligible. It makes no sense. What are your thoughts about that when that first came out?
Yeah, well, in terms of Zubimendi thing, I wasn't too gutted. I was expecting it, to be honest. I was with these songs, the longer it goes on, and it's never good news, is it? When it drags on. So I was fully prepared for it to fall through, to be honest. So that wasn't a surprise. Yeah, the no plan B stuff is, well, there's no words for it really, is there? Like it's the glaring hole in the team, and you only have one target, and if he doesn't come, then we're just going to neglect it. Like I said, it's kind of beyond belief, to be honest. I don't know what Richard Hughes is actually doing, like day to day, if he's got no backup at all lined up. Felt like I said, the glaring hole in the team. You know, that's your primary job to address that position, and you only have one target, which, you know, as we've seen, as we've discussed before, there was never any guarantees he was going to come based on his history of rejecting other clubs. So, yeah, it's yeah, don't really have any words to describe how incompetent it looks. To be honest, it's not a good look for Hughes, and he needs a big couple of weeks ahead to get the fans on side. That's for sure.
Yeah, I agree, mate. It's Richard Hughes is under some sort of pressure now because we understand at the start of this summer it was massive change. He's come into, let's be honest, off the pitch, we were in a bit of a mess in regards to the contract renewals. Obviously, new manager, new regime, all the backroom staff had to be brought in. I understand. While the Euros were ongoing, you had a chance to see, and he spent every day with Slot, apparently, with these meetings. That's what Slot has said. We've had meetings every single day. What about? You can't all of a sudden just decide there was one DM I wanted after a month of meetings, and then that's it. It makes zero sense. I'm hoping the club have just turned around and said this to not be desperate for negotiation reasons. But he just winded up the fan base who were already wound up that we've waited 2 months to even start talking to people about players. So, Reece, similar question. Like say, your overriding thoughts on the whole situation. These next 2 weeks are massive. We can't go into rage mode just yet because we never know. Under Edwards, he has still got that reputation. Edwards and Hughes will have a reputation of pulling a rabbit out the hat. But your faith, I assume, is dwindling like all of ours, is it not?
Yeah. Like obviously yesterday when I found that out, I was kind of like seething because I thought we weren't going to hear something till Wednesday. Then I saw kind of couple group chats were going off on socials. Like today, I'm more just disappointed because obviously Liverpool's dropped the ball. For me, Hughes has dropped the ball. People are trying to put Edwards. I'm not putting it on Edwards because for me, we know what he's done when he's been with us in the past. Obviously, he's in a different role now. But Hughes has dropped the ball. I think you've gone off his word. I'm not saying words not important, but you need a bit more than that, especially to run it through Ornstein and Fabrizio. Also, for me, it don't make sense. Why would, like Shu said, why would you stay with Sociedad? I guess where you're from, but it's like, are you not ambitious? It's very strange if you have said yes and then you change your mind. Once he started thinking about it, when he asked for more time, we should have been looking at other alternatives. That's the thing that's more annoying. I'm hoping that's just them saying that so they don't have to overpay when they do have to go for someone. But if that's the case, that's like really, bad business. How can we be this so far in the season and we haven't signed like a player? It's crazy. So for me, obviously, the next 2 weeks, it sounds like we're linked with players, but the question is, are we going to get 6? That's a suitable one. That's up to standard. But I was looking forward to him coming. Just disappointing from both ends, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned about the number 6. It's coming up to the third summer where we've tried to find a holding midfielder. Clearly, Klopp 2 years ago, he wanted to address, he saw a problem, he wanted to address it, and it didn't get done with the Zubimendi saga. You understand he wanted to go to Madrid. Caicedo was a desperate attempt, but that was under Jorg last summer. Hughes is supposed to be a well-respected, well-established sporting director. Yes, he's only worked at Bournemouth, but he's got a lot of connections. So you want a bit more trust in him, and it's really shaking. We need to respond. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they need to pull something out of the hat desperately. I've noticed in the comments that people kicking off about FSG. I fully get it, and I'm not pro FSG and I'm not anti FSG. I'm in the middle. On this deal alone, to be fair, it's not the owner's fault. The money was there. We were willing to pay the clause. It's just the fact that his head was turned back again and it didn't happen. But in regards to the alternative, that is down to the sporting director. The money is there, clearly. That is down to him. And I feel like, Stu, I'll come to you on this, actually. Arne Slot, new manager, new way of playing.
Yep.
Publicly has come out and said he wants a typical traits in a number 6. When we were on the American tour, he came out and said that in regards to Endo especially. I feel sorry for him already before the season kicked off. He wanted one player that he's come out and publicly said, and we're going to, as it stands, we're letting him down.
Yeah.
How would you feel if the new manager coming into that? Yes, okay, he's worked wonders. He's going to work wonders with what he's got because he did it at Feyenoord with minimal resources. But a club like Liverpool, so the only club in the top 5 European leagues to yet to sign a footballer, it's baffling. How can we put all pressure on Slot when he's not getting backed?
The simple answer to that question is we can't. We had to give some. We were always going to be patient with him coming in anyway. So that was a given. But I think our patience won't be tested is the wrong word. I think it'll be extended if we don't bring anybody in. I think we've got 2.5 weeks left of the transfer window, so there is that aspect. There is still obviously plenty of time to get transfers sorted out. Whether that will happen or not, again, is the question that's being asked. And if it doesn't happen, then yeah, I think the patience will be extended for Slot. We'll just have to give him the entire season, or at the very least until January, for when the window opens again, and see where we're at there. But it does baffle me. Like, so the club's issue is actually having a proper defensive midfielder, and we've dicked around for 3 seasons on the subject. And to be fair, actually, you know what? This could be a little bit of karma coming back to bite us in the ass after the way we treated Lavia last season. We dicked him around, made it very vocal that we were going to go for Caicedo. He saw his backside and went to Chelsea instead. Obviously, it didn't work out for him, and we were all laughing. But now, maybe it is a little bit of karma coming back and biting us in the ass about it. There's no other way. They still have time to get it sorted. But yeah, I think the patience is being tested already, to say the least.
Yeah, just a wee bit. It wouldn't surprise me, like I say, karma a bit like that. I think number 6 is cursed for us at the moment. You know, relying, as much as I respect Endo as a footballer, relying on a 30-year-old Japanese international to be a main number 6 on paper. It's quite baffling for a club that's been challenging for trophies since, well, I'd say for the last 8 years. But we'll see what happens over the next 2 weeks. Tom, there's another pressing matter in regards to, in addition to transfers. Of course, Virgil van Dijk's already come out and stated he wants reinforcements. He did. I think it was when Cody Gakpo was signed. Is that, for me, this is the overriding concern. We've got 3 major, crucial players out of contract next summer. And all we're hearing so far is negative noises because nothing's changing. Because we are focused on transfers and we are waiting to, let's say, September to focus on the contracts. Hopefully that is the case. But from fans, we don't know because we're on the outside. How are you feeling going into the season with Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, and Mo Salah all, with less than a year on the contract?
Yeah, it's not good, is it? We always used to talk about how well run the club is, but for me, I think the club's very poorly run right now. You know, even when we let players go, we do get good some fees. Like obviously Carvalho's going for a good fee, but we've let multiple players go on a free transfer, which we're a sell to buy policy. It's not the best kind of way to run things, is it? Letting people go on a free. Obviously, we're letting players' contracts run down. Don't seem to be addressing, obviously the playing squad either. So yeah, I think the club overall is just not being run very well at the moment. Then you obviously got Virgil coming out saying we need signings, which he's obviously limited in what you can say, so he feels very strongly about it clearly. So yeah, it's a shame because we've done really well in pre-season, but the noise around the club's just quite negative at the moment, isn't it? Which is a bit of a shame, like I said, considering how well we've done. But yeah, them contract needs sorting because, like you said, they're arguably our definitely 3 of our most important players, if not the 3 most. So yeah, that needs sorting, and I can't say I have much trust in the ownership to deliver on that. The Zubimendi thing, you can blame on Hughes or whatever, not having a backup, but I think internal contracts, I think that's on the ownership to come up with a plan to, this is the plan, this is the project, try and sell the project to these players, or give them, what they're worth, and obviously they're not doing that. So yeah, concerning and exciting times at the same time at the moment.
Certainly intriguing times anyway, not for the faint-hearted anyway. I think I'll only say one thing in regards to the the structure at the moment. We've had 3 different sporting directors in 3 years. Obviously, Julian Ward left for whatever reason he did. Then York came in, and now we've got Richard Hughes. As a player, you're seeing this happen. Obviously, the contracts are slowly winding down. But after Julian Ward left and York was only coming on a temporary contract, and no contracts were going to get done because, well, the sporting director was only there to do that summer. So then obviously Richard Hughes has got like, right, you've got 1 year left to get these players sorted. So I do have an ounce of sympathy in that respect because he's just been, he's a mess, deal with it. You're going to have to find your way through it. So I am obviously going to give him a bit of time to try to sort it out. But obviously all the cards are in the players' hands now because they can sit there and go, well, you've got a year to get shit sorted or I'm off. So we've got, especially regards to Mo Salah, because he can go anywhere he wants. Van Dijk, I think, wants to stay, but he wants to see ambition. He wants to see direction. And crucially, most importantly, Trent, I think it's the biggest risk because Madrid's there. Jude Bellingham's there, on his holidays. Come on, Trent, join me. That would be the biggest, the worst thing that could happen to the ownership in general, to lose the scouser in the team, the main scouser in the team, arguably our most talented footballer. So, yeah, Reece, similar question. I think the contracts are the more overriding concern, but I think the transfers, if we get a couple of good players in, not necessarily world-class players, but good footballers that will help the team this season, I personally think contracts will follow, especially in regards to Trent and Virgil. I don't know about Salah. The next 2 weeks, do you think it will get anything will happen? Do you have a bit of hope that we'll get something? Anything at all?
I think we'll get a few signings. I think the contracts will get done, but like I said, we've left ourselves a lot to do. We should never have been in the position where I saw someone in the chat say, how can you be going into the season and you've got your captain and vice captain that lost last year, their contracts was crazy. So I do think they will, but like you said, Van Dijk's come out and said he wants to see players. A few years ago, him and Alisson come out. I'm sure Trent said something about that, like ambition or something. They have every right to feel this way and want to see better players coming in because they're like three of our best players. The only contract one I'm not sure about is Salah's. I would give him a new contract, but that's the only one I'm worried about because I just think, are they going to give him more money? And he'd be lucky if he probably gets the same. That's the thing. If he wants more, I don't see them giving him more. But they've left themselves a lot to do. But I think we will get signings. I can't speak in the 6 right now because they've said they're not looking at a 6. But I think there's a goalie we're being linked with, the Valencia one.
We'll get on to that one, mate, don't worry.
But yeah, we've left ourselves a lot to do. But I do think it'll work itself out.
Well, let's all hope. Going on your faith, I hope we get it just on your faith. Fingers crossed, toes crossed, everything crossed. Something happens positive. Before we move on to the next subject, guys, please, as always, like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Get onto YouTube. And also, we have FPL is back. The most wonderful and stressful thing known to man. If you are, we have got a league going. So the pin is in the comment section. On the description on YouTube. So if you want to get involved, go over that, get it in, submit your teams, see if you can beat us and any of the rest of the guys on FPL. So on the topic of exits, because positivity, Luis Diaz, some reports come, whether it's from his agents or whether it's from Spain itself, that Barcelona reignited some sort of interest in him because the Nico Williams thing's kind of like gone sideways, whether it's because of the release clause or wages, I don't know. Personally, can't see this happening just because of money, but Stu, these talks have come from somewhere. Is his agent pushing for a new contract? Or do you think there is some hints and movements that he probably wants out if an offer comes in?
I believe there were some little minor rumblings during the Copa America when these rumors started circulating first time round. I believe I don't know whether he said it or whether it was somebody close to him said that eventually he did want to end up in Spain, like most South American players do, which is fair enough. Who actually started the rumors? Well, I've seen on various sites today that nobody seems to know, so that usually leads to the agent. from what I've seen on social media, usually when these stories come out and nobody is admitting to it is usually the agent because everybody else is pointing like that. Can I see him going? When I first heard the rumours, I immediately thought by the end of August he'll be gone. Then I saw obviously the Nico Williams connections to Barcelona. I was like, oh, well, maybe that won't happen. And then I see Nico Williams gets presented with the number 10 shirt at Atletico Bilbao. And I'm like, okay, what's happening here? And then the rumours surface again. So I'm sticking with my original one. I can actually see by the end of August that he will be gone. But again, and it has to be reiterated, if he goes and we still have no transfers in, there will be hell to pay from the fans. Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards might as well pack their bags and F off, because we cannot afford to lose a first team member like that and still not bring any transfers in. No. And I think that would actually break the patience of the fans. Like, what the hell's going on? You let him go, but we still don't bring anybody in. Carvalho, fair enough. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good profit. That's good business at the end of the day. Maybe letting a couple of the other youngsters go. Yeah, good business. But somebody like Diaz, you have to replace like for like. And you have to spend that sort of money as well. If that doesn't happen and still no other transfers come in, I don't fancy being in their position, just put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. It's one thing, like you say, to sell your fringe players. You understand that. Someone who hasn't worked well under 3 different managers in 2 years, you understand that.
Yep.
Selling a couple of youngsters on, you understand it, whether they can break through or not. These managers and coaches spend every day with these players. You understand that. But if this was June, I'd be like, 50, 60 million, not going to lie, move him on. We'll get somebody in. Now, the fact we can't address a position that we've been trying to address for 3 years, I don't have faith in the club in general to try to replace him within 2 weeks. Tom, when I first saw it, I think it was another one was a Man City rumor as well. It came out of the blue, but by the time I checked it, it was like in there and then just denied straight away. Are you, similar question, but are you concerned? Do you think he's edging for a move, or do you reckon it was just complete hogwash? And secondly, would you sell if an offer does come in?
Yeah, that's a bit of a mad little 10 minutes, wasn't it? This lunchtime, I had to check that the account was actually real, and it was. I was like, what the hell's going on here? It's like 70 mil, wasn't it, for Man City, apparently, but yeah. In terms of going elsewhere, I don't know. I think he would have gone by now if he was going to go, to be honest. You know, obviously the season's 4 days away. It's going to make it very difficult to kind of get a replacement lined up. I do think Gordon would jump at the chance to come to us, and I think we would be interested in him. So that's the obvious kind of replacement, isn't it, if Diaz is to go. But yeah, he does seem to be kind of flirting with the idea of Barcelona. Like you said, these South Americans do. That is kind of the pinnacle for them, isn't it? Like the Barcelona and the Real Madrid. So wouldn't be a massive surprise, I suppose. Yeah, but as Stu said, you know, you can't let him go and not bring anyone in. That's just beyond criminal. So I'd like to hope that Gordon's lined up if Diaz is to go. But yeah, don't have too much trust in the club at the moment to do the right thing. I think they need, you know, like I said, big 2 weeks ahead to restore that trust from the fans.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing how things can change so quickly. Reece, I don't know if you watched it yourself, but Liverpool when we played Sevilla at the weekend. I think Diaz fitted as like a glove. I had concerns that he wasn't going to fit the style too much, with his output not being great under Klopp. But he looked, I know it was only friendly, take that into hand. But he looked good, and faith was high. Even though we had no signings, we played really well. Confidence was quite high among the fan base. It hasn't even been a week since, and we're on our arses. And then hearing Diaz potentially, whether it's agent talk or not, is hinting that, come on, Barca, do something. Similar question to Tom. Do you think if an offer comes in, 50, 60 million, something like that, do you think we move him on? Would you move him on? And if we do, who do you think we would sign?
For me personally, not 50 or 60. I think it has to be a lot more for me, like more 80 to 90 for me. Because the season's starting, it looks unlikely, but I wouldn't rule it out. And if he was to go, then I see Liverpool going for Gordon because that amount, whatever Newcastle was asking for. But like Shu said, you would have to 100% get a replacement. Obviously, he looked impressive against Seville. It's only pre-season, but he looked good. And I've always said I rate him as a player. He's a very good player. It's always been the end product. So if he can produce what he done against Seville a lot more this season, then that would be great. But I wouldn't rule out him leaving. The only thing is City, I think it's unlikely. I don't think it would sell to them. And then Barca, I think, is a team who'd be interested in going to. But I just don't see how they can afford to pay for him for what we're asking for. But right now, I'm going to say he's staying. But if he was to go, I expect Gordon to be coming in when he's leaving.
Yeah, Gordon seems the most obvious one. Obviously, there was that deal that was nearly rubber stamped, and then it all went sideways due to other factors earlier this summer. I'd take him in a heartbeat, but it's whether Newcastle would sell at this stage. It's one of them. But yeah, I personally wouldn't sell. That's my thing, especially at this stage. I think it's only Barcelona that you'd go to because of that whole South American thing. That would make the most sense. But my gut feeling is he would stay. But you never know with Liverpool at the moment. Can't even predict what they're going to do next. So, yeah. Right. Next one. Reece, you mentioned this before. The Valencia goalkeeper, we've had conflicting reports. English side basically said there's nothing to it. But all of Spain have turned around and said, we're in talks. Right. I'm going to butcher his name. Bear with me. Yeah. Mamardashvili?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think that's close. That's close.
Yeah.
Like perfect.
Okay, I'll take it. The Georgian international played at the Euros, had a very good Euros. Statistically, was the best goalkeeper by far. It's been reported recently in the last hour or so that our first bid's been rejected, of course, standard. We're not willing to go up to 40 million. It's a balmy deal if it is true. Alisson's contract until 2027. Stu, obviously we've got a lot more bigger priorities ongoing.
Yeah.
Is this classed as future planning, or is this just an opportunity to get a decent keeper in, loan him out, and then potentially sell him on? Or should we be bothering with this?
Well, I personally think it's the one thing. If it is true that that's what we are planning on doing, I think it's absolutely excellent foresight. Mamardashvili is probably one of the best young goalkeepers in Europe right now. I think he's up there like the top 10, maybe top 5, actually. Phenomenal Euros with Georgia. Absolutely amazing season last season with Valencia, as well as stats were outstanding considering where Valencia are at the moment. So, yeah, really good planning, good future proofing. One thing I'm picking up on this as well is it came along with the Zubimendi talks, but along with this Mamardashvili one as well, is obviously we can never really know how true it is. The financial aspects. I think we're being a little bit stingy here. They go into these negotiations, they must know the valuation of the player. And it seems to me from the headlines that are being made, we keep on lowballing. Which, okay, fair enough if you want to try it that way, but just get on with it. If a club, like Valencia apparently have rejected our first and our second offer because we didn't reach their valuation, I think, of 40 million euro. And I'm like, if you're future-proofing for your number one goalkeeper, where I expect Alisson probably to go at the end of his contract in 2-3 years' time, then that's fair enough. Mamardashvili is an absolutely excellent choice to be our new number one. Get it done now. Stop naffing around. You can see my patience is starting to wear thin a little bit. I want to see a transfer come through for crying out loud. Just get it done. But he is worth it. He is worth that for you. It will pay out in the long run by far. And when I saw us linked with him, I was ecstatic with it. I thought it was an absolutely great idea to get this done. Loan him out for the first season, comes back for the second season. Then you see where he's at and maybe loan him out again. Job done. That 40 million will pay dividends over 10, 15 years for the club. Easy. So I've got no qualms with actually signing him or anything like that. I just don't understand why the club are dicking around with the financial aspects of it. I really don't. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a bargain. Well, £34 million, I think it equates to
Yeah.
From the exchange. The only reason I could think of, because obviously, as much as we slag them off, FSG are businessmen. You know, Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards are businessmen. That's their job. The only hope I have is that Mamardashvili, is turning around saying, I only want to sign a contract with Liverpool. So then we're going like, right, we'll give you 25 mil, we'll negotiate. The only worry is if someone, I don't know, a Man United or Spurs or something sods the goalie off and so you'll be number one in the Premier League in our team. That's the worry. Someone can just sweep in. But Tom, similar question. What do you reckon? Do you reckon this is good future planning, or should? Well, I think it is good future planning, but should it be a priority now? Saying that we have so many other issues, I feel like the number one goalkeeper or the goalkeeping department in general is probably our strongest department at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it is good future planning. Yeah, like you said, he's one of the best young keepers in Europe, so you never turn your nose up at future proofing. But yeah, there's multiple positions that need prioritising over a goalie. Even you got Kelleher behind Alisson as well. So I definitely don't see a goalkeeper as a priority. The whole thing concerns me a bit, to be honest, because I just think it means Alisson will be going next year. I can't. There's rumours about him being loaned out for like 2-3 years in there, but I just can't imagine that being the case. Spending 40 mil and then loaning him out for 3 years, like it just doesn't really make sense. So yeah, if we do get him, it points to me that Alisson will be going next year, which is a bit concerning, to be honest. But yeah, I suppose he's not going to be here forever. So yeah, I like it. I think he's got a good build about him, doesn't he? Like Alisson does as well. Kind of takes up the goal, which Kelleher lacks a bit of that presence. This guy seems like he's really got that presence about him in the goal, which I like. So yeah, I like the signing, but I don't think it's a priority, and it concerns me a bit that I think that means the end of Alisson sooner rather than later.
Yeah, the reports first came out, you immediately thought, well, we've got Alisson, and then you start thinking, after recent events, does he want to move on? He's only 23, which is very, very young for a goalie, but his stats are ridiculous for, an under-25 goalkeeper, so much experience. Reece, I don't know if you've seen him play yourself. He would suit us down to the ground, very good with his feet, great shot stopper, really good. By the sounds of it, the plan would be go to Valencia again for another season and then go to the Premier League for another season, because there's some rule that you can't loan to another Premier League club in the same transfer window as you bought him. If you're just as a separate factor, Quavine Kelleher sitting there on the bench saying, I can't get ahead of Alisson because best goalie in the world still is. And you're hearing these reports, whether they're true or not, you're sitting there going, I want out even more now because I need game time for the World Cup if Ireland even qualify. But we're going to see such a drastic change in the goalkeeping department in potentially 2 years. Just adds more uncertainty, in my opinion, as much as I still support signing him. What is your overall feeling about the whole situation around it?
I think he's a good young goalie. I've seen like a few bits and bobs from the Euros. It's a little surprising because Liverpool's not usually proactive. They're usually reactive, usually kind of just wait. But I feel like what Tom said, I think there's a reason to it, which can be maybe Alisson in a year or two could be leaving. And Kelleher might look at that and think they don't see me as a number one. He's probably gonna leave. He's probably gonna want to leave as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't think, like I said, they're just going outright to get a goalie. And Alisson's going to be there for a few years. And Kelleher, I think there's more of a reason to it. If one of them do leave, then it shows that we're kind of prepared because he's quite a highly rated goalie. But yeah, it's an interesting story and whatnot.
It would be typical Liverpool at the moment to end the transfer window. Yeah, we haven't sorted the centre back, no new contracts, but we bought a new keeper who's not going to replace our goalkeeper for 3 years. Sound. I have seen someone in the comments mention that Chelsea will swoop in and buy him. They might as well. They got about 8 other goalkeepers. Feel free. It's ridiculous. Right, we're going on to the main section of the stream, our Premier League predictions. But I will just point out tomorrow is going to be the proper Premier League predictions show for the channel. The channel have submitted all theirs, and that's where it'll be in depth. We'll go through team by team exactly what they think will happen. These aren't predictions, they're spoilers, so get your bets on. Anyway, we'll start off, Stu. What we'll do, we'll go round section by section. You don't have to go into immense detail. Just give me a bit of thought on each one. So, Stu, who is your Premier League winner?
My Premier League winner, I have picked out as Arsenal this season, but I think we're going to run it close. At the moment, I can't see. You'll notice I haven't mentioned City yet. I can't see any other squads in the Premier League at the moment competing with the experience that Liverpool and Arsenal have got for running in like sort of the top sections of the table. I think the likes, obviously Chelsea have got like an NFL side way off at the moment. So yeah, I think Arsenal personally will be third time lucky for them. Obviously, I would love it to be us. I really would. But that's my pick for this season.
Yeah, that's fair. Just a quick point out, guys, get your predictions in the comments. I'll see what you think. See if you agree with us. If you disagree with us, let me know. Feel free. Tom, who's your Premier League winner for next season?
Yeah, gone for Arsenal as well. Obviously been very close the last couple of years. Been kind of banging the door down, so I just think it's kind of inevitable that they will get their hands on it sooner rather than later. And City 4 in a row. Surely it's due for the reins to be handed over. So yeah, I think it might just be Arsenal's time this year.
Yeah, fair enough. Like I say, it'd be interesting to see what happens in regards to the court case. I think that's going to be an overriding factor as well. Reece, say with you, who's your winner?
As it stands right now, Arsenal, I'm leaning towards because their squad's still quite strong. Obviously, they've signed Calafiori. It looks like they're probably going to get the other one that Ross. Obviously, they just kind of need a striker after that. So I'm kind of leaning towards them, but I do think Liverpool right now, as it stands, I would say. Can I say where I think Liverpool finish, or do you want me to hold back?
We'll go on to line a bit.
All right, cool. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I personally think Arsenal as well. I think the court case is going to be, like I say, I won't be surprised if City are 10 points clear, whatnot, and then cheeky, here's a 40-point deduction, sort of. I won't be surprised. That'd be great. But I think Mikel Arteta has to win it this year. I think this is the one. Be so close last season. The season before, they kind of just fell apart. It is what it is. Last season, it was so close. And I think losing it again is going to be under severe pressure. And I think they might just do it. I think City will probably push more for probably the Champions League again. They're going to also going to put it all into the Premier League. That's all the noise that's coming out of Arsenal at the moment. They want to win every single game in the Premier League. So I think that heartache will drive them forward, unfortunately. We'll love it to be Liverpool, but as it stands, I'm going on as it stands, transfer-wise especially, I don't think we just have enough, especially with more games with the Champions League and all that. I think we might just struggle to fight it for that like last season, basically. So top four, obviously, we've all said Arsenal to win the league. Stu, who is the other top three? Second, third, and fourth.
I'll try not to give too much away here because I've done a video for my own channel about predictions here. So, yeah, don't go and tune into that one. Now, my top four, I've got to say Arsenal first, then Liverpool second. And I've actually gone with Newcastle and West Ham filling the Champions League spots.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll explain
it in your go on. I'll let you explain it in your video on your channel.
Yeah.
Go check out Stu's video on his channel. But wow, some wild picks there. But fair play, fair play.
Yeah.
Tom, what are your other top three along with Arsenal?
Goes Man City second, goes third, and I will also go Newcastle fourth. I think with that European football, I think that'll massively help them. I think Villa will struggle this year with Champions League. They're not used to that, so obviously Tottenham got Thursday night football to deal with as well. So yeah, I think the lack of European football will massively benefit Newcastle, and I see them getting back into that top four.
Yeah, I think Newcastle will definitely improve this year. I know Europe's going to be massive for them, especially in regards to injuries. They got decimated last season. I think it's going to really help them. Reese, same with you, my friend. Second, third, and fourth.
Liverpool second, City third, and then fourth, and Newcastle or West Ham are those two. I think people are sleeping on those two teams. They're more just looking at United. They're signing players, but they're always signing players. And then we already know about the circus show at Chelsea. You can sign loads of players, but it's still going to need time to, to get familiar with each other.
Fair enough. I'm in full agreement with Tom. I've gone Arsenal. I've gone City second, Liverpool third, Newcastle fourth. That's been mine for the last few weeks. And I think even with signings, I think that might stay the same. Relegation. I think this is pretty cut and dry. I think most people are in agreement on this. Stu, I'm assuming it's the three that came up. But is there anybody else you reckon that could get thrown in the mix if that is the case?
I think it goes without saying every season. So the three that come up are always going to be the ones that are most at risk. I do think out of the three that have come up, I think the two teams most at risk are Ipswich and Southampton. I've got them nailed down pretty much. Then for that final slot, obviously Leicester could get dragged into it, but I got a sneaking suspicion they may be okay this season. I've gone for Everton as relegation candidates again. But I've actually also nailed in City. I even put a bet on it today as well. So not condoning gambling, anybody, but I've put a bet on City getting relegated. And my logic behind that is if the FA want to have a backbone and show supporters that they stand by the rules that they make, then they have to punish Man City severely to even have some sort of clout anymore. If they don't, then everything goes pretty much. Yeah. So they have to relegate City. They have to. And they've brought the trial forward. That's a curious little twist as well. But obviously that's a discussion for another time. But yeah, there's my thing. Everton, Man City, maybe even somebody like not Brighton or Palace. I'm trying to think. Maybe Fulham, possibly. We'll see.
Just imagine if, let's say, City won the league and then the Prem just went, yeah, you're getting relegated, mate.
I'd love it because they deserve it. That's what they deserve. That's the thing. We all know it.
You're right, though. You are right, though. If they get cleared, it is anything goes. Do what you want. Newcastle will just rule the world because they're literally the richest club in the world. It would just cause absolute chaos. So something has to be done, not just a nasty fine. It needs to be severe. Fully agree on that. Tom, who are your relegation sits in your mind?
As much as I'd love Man City to be in there, I think we all know deep down, they're not getting more than a slap on the wrist, are they? Let's be honest. So my relegation candidates I've gone Ipswich, Southampton. I think most people see them as pretty much nailed on. Then I've gone for Forest to join them. Just don't know. Got a bad feeling about Nuno there. I'm feeling like after a bad start and they won't recover. So yeah, I've gone for Ipswich, Southampton, and Nottingham Forest.
It's fair. I've seen a few people predict about Forest. The whole squad got Gibbs White and Hudson-Odoi. Awanoyi, who's played for Liverpool, obviously. Well, he was a Liverpool player, he didn't play, but still. Good squad, but bad manager. Very hit and miss. I won't be surprised if he's sacked this season. But yeah, definitely a candidate. Reece, who are your three to go down?
I think Everton will definitely be in the mix again. They've been quite lucky the last couple of seasons. The narrow escapes have been getting. But the teams I've picked are Ipswich, Southampton, and Nottingham Forest as well. I think Nottingham Forest were kind of lucky not to last season. Those would be my three.
I've gone Ipswich, Southampton. The reason I've gone Leicester is just because the risk of a points deduction as well.
Okay.
And I think that might just drag them down. Obviously, wait and see in regards to in terms of transfers. But at the moment, they're just relying on Jamie Vardy and Patson Daka up front, which is not the greatest thing in the world. But we'll see. Another one, Carter's going to kill me if he watches this. He's going to absolutely kill me. But Brentford, I think, could get dragged in. It's all going to hinge on Tony, I think. Poor Carvalho might get dragged into this as well. Obviously, signed there recently. I think they've just got such a thin squad, and it's starting to catch up to them now. They don't have as much money because they aren't actually a big club. I hate saying that term; it's a horrible term, but they gain less and less money each year. The impact of rising wages, trying to keep all of the best players, and when you've got clubs like Leicester coming back up, as much as I think they'll struggle, they have got a lot of money because they are a relatively big club. Leicester are, so I think they could struggle, but I still think 3 championship teams will go back down. That's my gut feeling. I think that gap between the championship and Premier League is getting bigger all the time. They Burnley proved that last season. I thought they would do all right. I think a lot of people thought they'd do okay, getting nearly 100 points, and then they were awful, weren't they? So that gap is getting bigger. So we'll go on to cups. So Stu, FA Cup and League Cup. We'll do the domestic ones first. Wild shouts these are. These are really wild shouts.
I think Carabao Cup. Again, big teams will probably use their younger squads. I don't know. Actually, for a Carabao Cup, I'm thinking somebody like Villa this season would be a fair shout. FA Cup, I don't know. Us this season for the FA Cup. Feeling optimistic. Go on, let's get a bit of optimism going.
Yeah, why not? Fair enough. Tom, same as you. What do you reckon for the cups to the 2 domestic?
Carabao will go Newcastle to finally break the duck. What is it, 70-year duck or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I'll back them to do the Carabao. And FA Cup, I'll go Borough, go Man City.
I was going to say
literally
that.
name my 2 as well. Yeah, City do it every time, don't they? They just end up going for it at the end of the season every time. They just don't get any injuries and they just win every game. Standard City. But yeah, Newcastle, I think, a trophy for them. Even if they send the fans, and I think even Eddie Howe, would you rather get 5th in a cup or 4th? I think a major part would be like, give me that cup. I'll be a legend forever. Reese, what are your picks?
For the League Cup, I could see maybe a Chelsea. Because like I said, in the league, I still think they're going to be very up and down. Maybe like Cup, they might be all right because they have got some good players. FA Cup, I'm going for us. Obviously, we had the Carling Cup last year. If I was to get one of the domestic cups, that's the one. I think we got a good chance of winning the FA Cup.
Be nice once it's Slots getting his first trophy in his first season, and he would win as many trophies as Arteta had as well. That'd be great. Champions League and Europa League. I think mine personally. I think Europa League, unfortunately, will be United. I think they'll put all efforts into that. It's a way into the Champions League. They've got a strong squad for the competition they're up against. Champions League, I'm going to be a bit boring, but I'm going to go Madrid. They've got a world-class team. They just signed Mbappe. Standard. But Stuart, what are your 2 picks?
I can't look too far past Real Madrid for the Champions League again. Their squad is just disgusting. It is ridiculous how many young, talented players they've got. It was unreal. Europa League. I don't think United. I actually think the Europa League's probably going to go to one of the European sides. I can't remember who's qualified from like sort of various leagues, but I don't think it's going to be a British team this year. I think it's going to be probably. I'm going to say probably one of the teams from Italy. Whoever qualified out of them.
I'll say for the Europa League entry because it's constantly changing. You get random teams thrown into the mix.
Yeah.
But I'd rather it not be United. I'd rather be wrong, definitely. But I hate gut feelings, but it is what it is. Tom, what are your 2?
Champions League, I'm going to be very optimistic and say us.
Big shout. Big shout.
The pedigree we've got in Europe, that counts for something. Obviously the format's expanding this year, isn't it? We've got an absolutely massive squad to deal with that. And let's face it, we're still one of the best teams in Europe. like I said, the pedigree, the squad. I think that obviously the squad is lacking in terms of quality, not quantity, in one or two areas. So I think a cup competition, as opposed to over a 38-game season, might suit us a little bit better. No one wants to come to Anfield on a European night, no matter who you are. So yeah, for me, I'll go for us. You can never write us off in Europe ever. So I'll go optimistic and say we'll make it 7 this year.
There. Can't go against you. Not very often to support this YouTuber, but I think Goldbridge has actually come out and said thanks to Liverpool win the Champions League. That's how balmy it is. But hey ho. Reese, your 2 picks, mate, for Europe.
Champions League, Real Madrid. Like I said, you can't really look past Real Madrid based on the squad they've got. They've just got Mbappe now as well. I think Bayern will be there or thereabouts. I think Company's going to have a good season. I know it's only pre-season. It looks like he's got them playing some good football, and they've signed a few good players as well. I think Champions League will get around quarterfinals. If we get anywhere after that, then I'll kind of start to think, okay, we've got a good chance to win it. But I think we'll get minimum around quarters. Europa League, I'm more leaning towards like a RB Leipzig or a Seville. If Seville's in it, again, one of those type of teams. United will be there or thereabouts, but I wouldn't rule out those teams, like, because they've got that, especially Seville, they have that know-how. They've won it quite a few times.
Yeah, I don't like hearing Sevilla's name in regards to the Europa League. They're guaranteed to win it every bloody time, aren't they? But yeah, that's fair enough. What's the next one? Player of the season. I've gone Ødegaard. I think he's going to be an Arsenal player if Arsenal win the league. So I've gone Ødegaard. I think every year he's got better and better. Saka's also another shout because he's English, but I think Ødegaard's so crucial how they play. So that's my pick. Stu, what's yours?
Player of the year, I've actually gone for Salah for this year. I don't know. I just got a feeling about it. He looks really, really sharp. And I am expecting like a 40-goal contribution season, like 20 goals, 20 assists. He is looking that sharp at the moment. I honestly think he can achieve that this season. So, yeah, I'm going to Salah for player of the year.
Fair enough. Like I say, I agree. He is very sharp in pre-season, and slot system suits wingers down to the ground. So he is open, eh?
Is that buzz cut?
Tom, your player of the season, mate.
I agree with you on this one. I've got Ødegaard. Just think he's such a good player on the eye to watch. Been brilliant the last couple of years. Everything Arsenal do goes through him. I think he's arguably their most important player. Like I said, that all their attacking movement, he kind of knits it all together. So, yeah, for me, I'm backing into have a massive season, and I'll go for him.
I feel like you're mirroring my phone on your screen or something. It's exactly the same as me. Reese, what are the pick for play of the season?
I think Ødegaard's in the mix, but the two I'm leaning towards either Saka or Salah. Because I can see Salah looks really sharp. He looks like he could have a good season. But then Saka, he's had good seasons, but potentially this could be a season where he actually gets more goals. He actually has more of a standout kind of season. So one of the two.
Oh, I hope you and Stu are correct on that. I would love it. Sal to hopefully it's nice last season, but I want him to break that record, get into the top. Is he the top 3 all-time goal scorers? I think he's 4th or 5th. He could easily get 3rd if he goes on a bit of a run. He deserves it, and I just hope he stays on the back of it. That's the best case scenario. A couple of wild ones. So dark horse, just a quick one on this one. We're running out of time. So Stu, who's your dark horse? You're surprised the season?
I've gone for West Ham on this one. I think the signings that they've made have been very, very good signings. And it's just a case of making sure the squad can take over, but also the keeping Bowen and Kudus and James Ward-Prowse to a certain extent, and their defensive midfielder Alvarez, who plays in the centre mid for them.
Alvarez,
yeah. Keeping those key players, but bringing in the players that they've bought, I think, dark horse for this season, definitely.
Tom, who's your surprise this season, mate?
I got for Palace, actually. I think what Glasner's did at the back end of last season was really, really impressive. Obviously, it looks like they're going to keep holding. I think Elise is going to be a big miss, but they're going to keep hold of Wharton, they're going to keep hold of Eze. It looks like they're holding very firm on Gay. I think he'll end up staying. So they kept the core of the team together there. And I think if you look from the table from when Glasner joined last year, I think they would have been top 6 at least, maybe even top 4. So yeah, I'll go for Palace to have a big season this year.
Just got to stop doing this, mate. That's my pick as well. I've gone with Palace as well. But yeah, I fully agree. Some really good players. Like that manager made bloody Mateta look like a world-class striker at the end of last season. Statistically, was the best striker as well on form, which is crazy. But yeah, I've gone with Palace as well. Who's your dark horse for the season?
Mine's the R2, so it's a West Ham or Palace. I think West Ham's already had a good squad, but they've signed a few decent players as well. It's gone under the radar. And then Palace, I like the new manager. I like the run he put together towards last year. They're playing some good football, even though they lost Elise. Like I said, I think they'll have a good season.
It's fair. Last two, we'll do them both in one hit. I want your first manager to be sacked. That we might be in agreement on this all four, but we'll see. First manager to be sacked, and I want what's guaranteed to happen this season. So it could be someone not winning a trophy, someone to hit so many goals, that type of thing. So, Stu, what is your banker of the season? Banker with a B. And first manager to be sacked.
All right, manager, I will go with. Oh, I've probably got Ten Hag.
Wow. Okay.
That may be wishful thinking, but I don't know. What's guaranteed to happen this season? I'm going to stick my neck out again on this one. I'm guaranteed that City are going to get relegated.
Oh.
Fair enough. I think that's a Liverpool fan's dream, that is. You know,
Ten Hag getting sacked and City getting relegated. That's like a dream season for us.
Fair. Tom, same question. Go on.
I'll go Nuno to be sacked first. Like I said, I think Forest are going to struggle this year. I think they're going to get off to a bad start. Don't really rate him as a manager, to be honest. I think his style's outdated, so I'll go with him to be sacked first. And the banker is the Maresca won't last the season at Chelsea. I'd be stunned if he did.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree. He's my manager to be sacked first. Maresca is. Reese, go on. Give me yours.
Either the Chelsea manager, because I just don't think, unless you're going to get the time and you're going to get frustrated, similar to Poch, that you don't have control of all these players coming in and out. Obviously, Ten Hag, I think he has to be in the mix as well, because he's on borrowed time. Even though they gave him an extension, it was only like an extra year. So I think they're just waiting. They're waiting for him to give them a reason to pull the trigger. And then I'm not sure who Everton's manager is. Whoever the Everton manager, I wouldn't be surprised, because they're going to be in a relegation battle. So those three.
That's still Dyche, I think.
Yeah, it is.
The Dyche, yeah. At some point.
Like I said, my first manager to be sacked is Maresca. I'm going to be quite boring on the banker, but it's been the case for a very long time now. Spurs won't win a trophy this season. A bit of a cop-out.
Shocker.
Yeah. A bit of a cop-out, but we'll take it. But yeah, that was our brief predictions of the season. And like I say, tomorrow, bit of a plug here. The channel has got their own dedicated stream for predictions, going more in depth, explain signings, what the panel, and what all of us collectively think, what will happen next season. Like I said, it's not predictions, they are spoilers. Go with your guts. But yeah, thanks. That's the stream for tonight, guys. Thanks for joining us. 7,000 views on Twitter, and we've got 100 watching on YouTube, which is wonderful. Like and subscribe as always. We have got an American stream tonight, 2 a.m. UK time. I am terrible at American times. I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern, I think. I don't know the other side. I'm terrible. I need to sort that out. But yeah, there is another one in a few hours' time at an American stream. And finally, obviously, the FPL code is in the description on YouTube. Take us on, see if you can beat us. Most likely going to beat me because I'm terrible at it. But anyway, thanks again. You never walk alone. Up the Reds, up Honest Lot. Let's go at this season. Just go for it.